So I saved the profiler of the previous run, and we can see here that the total time of the report is 2.6 seconds, and we can see that we are making 830 calls to the order details table, and another 830 calls or 29 calls in the get total count in the inner controller. Now I want to eliminate those using inner selects. Now if you want to understand in-depth inner selects, we have a different series on that called inner select in-depth. But in this case, I just want to introduce you to the InnerSelectHelper class and show you how with very little work we can get all of this to work for us. So let's start with eliminating this relation. So here we have a relation to order details, which its entire purpose is to update this local column v has order details. So instead of using a relation to do that, let's use the InnerSelectHelper. So I'm going to say var h equals new env data InnerSelectHelper. I'm going to send it this in the constructor. I'm going to say h.turn to exists. And I'm going to send it the v has order detail. In terms of the child entity I want to check is order detail. That's the entity I want to check if a row exists there. And the conditions that I want to use is the condition we've used over here. Great. Let's do that. Now, of course, we want to eliminate the relation because we improved the performance. And we also need to eliminate the columns that were used in this relation since we will no longer getting them from the database. So let's run this code. And yeah, I forgot to profile, so I'll profile. And we are running this now, and it runs a bit faster. And when we look at the profiler, we actually got a second just for this little fix. Let's have a look. Perfect. We can see that the 800 queries that existed before no longer exist. And our query became a bit more interesting because now it also has the select max with the is null and everything that we've talked about before. Great. Let's do the same to eliminate the call to the get total quantity. So originally in the code we wanted to get the total quantity. We defined a local column. And we defined an inner controller that goes and gets the total quantity. It runs on order detail, based on order detail is equal to the ordered ID in the parent, and only row accumulates the values. Now we can do all of that with just one line of code. Let me show you. So the total quantity, we're going to say h.turn to sum to the column total quantity. We want to accumulate the child column order details dot quantity, and we want to give it a filter. In this case it's the same filter as above, so I'm just going to copy it. Perfect. Now I can remove the inner controller completely because I no longer need it, and on my leave row I can even remove the total quantity and everything around that. So my code just became a lot simpler. And let's run this. Run the profiler, run the report. You can see that it immediately shows up. And if we look at the profiler, we can see that the report took only 696 seconds. And instead of having multiple queries, we just have one query, although a bit longer, still just one query with several parts. This part takes care of the sum of quantity, and this part takes care of getting whether or not a row exists in the order detail. Now let's review the changes that we've done to our code. So what have we done? We removed the relations, okay? And we used the turn to exit and turn to sum to turn the two columns. We removed the columns that were used by the relation because we don't need them anymore, and we completely removed the inner controller of get total quantity. So that's what you need to use basic inner select. If you want to understand into greater depth how inner select operate and work, as I said, we have a different playlist which is called Inner Select in Depth, and you can understand how all of this is written. But we like to simplify the common use case, and to do that we created the InnerSelectHelper, which will be included in the next version, next migration you'll take from Firefly, or if you want, we can just email it to you if you need it. I hope you'll make good use of it. This is an amazing way to improve performance. You can get dramatic results. You can see here that with just 3 lines of code, we were able to delete more than 50 lines of code and improve our performance by a factor of 4, like 35% improvement. I hope you like this. See you soon.